another interesting development after that Supreme Court decision was the BJP holding a core committee meeting after the Supreme Court decision to give relief to those rebel MLAs. The strategy on the Maharashtra government formation on the agenda, that's the big question, as a rebel leader Eknath Shinde has flaunted his numbers from a hotel in Guwahati.
Right, and the BJP is in fact evaluating its next move. And the question is, who has the numbers? Which camp constitutes the real Shiv Sena, as both the camps seem to be pretty confident of holding their majority?
Well, as far as the MLAs go, definitely Eknath Shinde has, the majority of the MLAs by his side. But let's go across to Saurabh now for more. And so, Saurabh, relief for those rebel MLAs. And so now we'll have to wait and see what is their strategy next. Meanwhile, the BJP holding this meeting was also very interesting. And if we talk about today, we do know that Sanjay Raut had been summoned by the ED, but he's not going for that summons. He already declared that yesterday. So tell us what's expected today in Maharashtra.
Yes, Sanjay Raut had been summoned today, but he's not going. He's already clarified that he's not going because of the fact that he has a meeting, pre-scheduled meeting in Alibag, and also at this point with the political situation in Maharashtra, he cannot be spared, is what of course Sanjay Raut's explanation is. Now the timing of the summons to Sanjay Raut has again been questioned. The Enforcement Directorate has been accused of working at the behest of the BJP to target opposition political parties. Not just the Shiv Sena, but several opposition parties across the country have repeated this allegation against the Enforcement Directorate, which is controlled by the central government, and many believe that it's acting at the behest of the BJP to target the BJP's opponents. So that's one part. The second part is what next? Well, the Supreme Court did not close the avenue for a floor test, even though it said there should be a status quo, saying that that was not a part of the petition, and the fact that when the lawyers for the Shiv Sena said that if there is to be a status quo, then let not there be a floor test. He said, of course the court said that if there is any illegality, you can come to us at any point, any citizen can approach us. So obviously, there is an avenue left open for a floor test. And of course, if there is a floor test, the Shiv Sena can move the Supreme Court, saying that it had asked for a status quo, and having a floor test in the middle of a status quo is hardly a status quo. So obviously, that is one argument that we will see. But when that floor test is going to happen is something that is being kept a very, very closely guarded secret. In fact, we know secret parleys have taken place between the rebel camp leader Eknath Shinde and the BJP as well, including that secret meeting that has been reported about in Baroda, where apparently Eknath Shinde flew in and met top leaders of the BJP. So obviously, this is an attempt to topple yet another opposition government and install a BJP government in a state, a very, very important state like Maharashtra. But the Shiv Sena, led by Uddhav Thackeray, is not giving up, not going away without a fight. In fact, they say that the Chief Minister is not bothered about holding on or clinging on to the Chief Minister's position. But he, of course, is also not willing to simply surrender before what the Shiv Sena calls gaddars or traitors. Now, obviously, that is the politics. But beyond the politics, let's also remember that these are MLAs and ministers who've taken an oath to serve Maharashtra, but they're not here. They're in a five-star hotel in Guwahati. Their constituents cannot reach them, and that's, of course, definitely a violation of the oath they took.